My wife secretly enrolled me in a toxic masculinity reform program without telling me. I found the emails. I said nothing, but enrolled her in codependency recovery at the same center. When we both showed up for orientation, the counselor had some interesting questions. I, 32 male, discovered my wife Ramona's 30 little scheme completely by accident. She'd left her email open on our shared laptop while she ran to the store. I was just trying to close tabs when I saw the subject line, Confirmation, Toxic Masculinity Intensive, Enrollment Complete. My name was right there. Starting date 2 weeks out. Cost $3,200. The email thread went back 3 months. 3 months of her discussing my problematic behaviors with some counselor named Dr. Fielding. Let me list these dangerous red flags, Ramona reported. I watch football on Sundays. I go to the gym 4x a week. Obsessive fitness culture. I drink beer with my brother. I play video games for 2 hours on Friday nights. I didn't cry at her friend's wedding. I fix things around the house instead of processing emotions. Dr. Fielding's response was golden. These are classic signs of internalized patriarchal conditioning. Our 8-week intensive program will help him recognize and deconstruct these harmful patterns. 8 weeks of this. The real kicker? Ramona had told them I was resistant to therapy, so they'd prepared special techniques for reluctant participants. She'd planned to blindside me with an intervention the night before the first session. I sat there staring at the screen. Part of me wanted to confront her right then. But then I saw something else in the emails. The name of the center, Healing Horizons Wellness Institute. I opened an incognito tab. Their website was something. They offered programs for everything: toxic masculinity, codependency, narcissistic recovery, empathy reconstruction, even something called Emotional Availability Bootcamp. And right there on the programs page, Codependency Recovery Intensive, break free from unhealthy relationship patterns. Perfect. I created a new email account and reached out as a concerned husband, worried about his wife's codependent behaviors. Within an hour, I had a response from Dr. Morrison. I scheduled a consultation call for when Ramona was at her pottery class. Dr. Morrison was very understanding as I explained Ramona's concerning behaviors. Monitoring all my activities, needing constant validation, making unilateral decisions about my mental health, inability to respect boundaries, attempting to control my hobbies and friendships. This is definitely codependency, Dr. Morrison confirmed. The fact that she's trying to force you into therapy without your consent is particularly troubling. I enrolled her in the same 8-week program. Same days, same building, just different conference rooms. Cost $3,200, worth every penny. Update 1. The intervention attempt was hilarious. Ramona had gathered her sister Thea, her mom Joyce, and her best friend Kendra in our living room. They all had printed letters. "Honey, we need to talk about getting you help." Ramona started. I played dumb. "Help with what?" "Your toxic behaviors, the way masculinity has corrupted you." "Which behaviors specifically?" Thea jumped in. "You don't share your feelings. I told Ramona I loved her this morning." "Kendra, you're emotionally unavailable. We went on a date 2 nights ago." "Joyce, you're aggressive." "When?" "Your energy, it's aggressive." They went in circles for an hour. Finally, Ramona played her card. "Well, I've already enrolled you in a program. It starts Monday. You're going." "Okay." They all stopped. They'd clearly expected resistance. "Okay?" Ramona was suspicious. "If you think I need help, I trust your judgment." She narrowed her eyes but couldn't find the trap. Monday came. I got dressed in my best casual therapy outfit, khakis and a button-down. Ramona was buzzing around, nervous but excited. "I'm so proud of you for being open to this journey," she kept saying. "Hey, why don't we ride together?" I suggested. "Save gas." She hesitated. "Oh, that's okay. I have errands after I drop you off." "No problem. I'll drive myself then." "No, I mean, I want to make sure you actually go." "Then let's go together." She couldn't find a way out. We got in her car. She started driving to Healing Horizons. "Actually," I said, "I got an email saying the first session is in Building B." "That's weird. The website says Building A." "Maybe check your email?" She pulled over, grabbed her phone. I watched her face change as she read the new email in her inbox. "Dear Mrs. Ramona, this is a reminder that your Codependency Recovery Intensive begins today at 9 a.m. in Building B, Conference Room 3. Your husband has expressed significant concern about your controlling behaviors. The silence was deafening. You, she started. Yes? You enrolled me in therapy? Codependency recovery, specifically. How dare you? How dare I? You enrolled me in a toxic masculinity program without telling me. That's different. How? You needed it. And based on your secret enrollment of me in therapy, I'd say you need codependency recovery. She was vibrating with rage. I'm not going. Neither am I then. You have to. I already paid. So did I. Guess we're both out $3,200. We sat there in the parking lot for 20 minutes. Finally, she said, fine, I'll go to mine if you go to yours. Deal. We walked into Healing Horizons together, checked in at reception, and went to our separate rooms. The receptionist's face when she realized we'd enrolled each other was priceless. Update 2. That first day was wild. I sat through 2 hours of toxic masculinity deconstruction with 5 other dudes who looked as confused as I felt. The facilitator, Brad, who insisted we call him B-Rad to break down formal masculine structures, had us introduce ourselves and explain why we were there. My wife signed me up, was the response from literally every single guy. Meanwhile, Ramona was apparently having a time in her codependency session. She texted me exactly 73 times during my 2-hour session. This is ridiculous. They think I'm controlling. How is caring about you codependent? Your therapist is probably not even qualified. This is abusive. You're gaslighting me. I'm leaving. If you don't leave too, we're getting divorced. I didn't mean that. Please respond. Why aren't you responding? When we met in the parking lot, she was crying, but not sad tears, rage tears. They made me do a worksheet about boundaries. They said I violate yours. What did you put? I said I don't because you don't have any boundaries because toxic masculinity destroyed your ability to have them. And what did they say? That was a codependent response. The drive home was silent until she exploded. You know what? Fine. I'll do the stupid program and you'll do yours, and at the end, we'll see who was right. Sounds good. But here's where Ramona made her fatal error. She assumed I'd drop out. She started telling everyone I was in therapy for toxic masculinity, spinning it as her victory. Posted on social media about being a supportive wife helping her husband grow. Her mom called me. I'm so proud of you for finally admitting you have problems. Her sister texted, maybe you'll finally be good enough for Ramona. Kendra started a group chat called Ramona's Husband Recovery Journey, where they discussed my progress. Little did they know I was thriving in my program. Turns out, when you don't actually have toxic masculinity issues, the program is pretty easy. I became B-Rad star student just by being a normal person. The other guys started calling me the natural. Meanwhile, Ramona was struggling. Hard. Update 3. Everything came to a head during week 3's family integration session, where they brought both programs together for joint exercises. Picture this. 6 guys from toxic masculinity recovery, sitting across from 6 women from codependency recovery. The facilitators, B-Rad and Dr. Morrison, clearly didn't know that Ramona and I were married to each other. The exercise was role-playing healthy relationships. They paired us up randomly. I got paired with a woman named Goldie. Ramona got paired with a guy named Rex. B-Rad. Now practice setting a healthy boundary. Rex to Ramona. I need Tuesday nights for my bowling league. But what if I need you on Tuesday? Ramona, remember, his needs are valid independent of yours. But if he loves me, shouldn't he prioritize me? That's codependent thinking. Meanwhile, Goldie and I were crushing it. Me, I'd like to spend Sunday watching the game. That sounds reasonable. I'll make plans with my friends. Beautiful. See how he expressed his needs without aggression? Ramona was watching us, seething. Then came the bomb. Dr. Morrison asked, does anyone want to share how their partner responded to them being in recovery? Ramona's hand shot up. My husband is also in therapy here, and... Oh, wonderful, Dr. Morrison interrupted. It's so healthy when both partners work on themselves. Is he in anger management? Toxic masculinity recovery. B-Rad perked up. Wait, what's his name? The room went dead silent as they put it together. B-Rad and Dr. Morrison exchanged looks. Dr. Morrison cleared her throat. Ramona, did you enroll your husband without his consent? For his own good. And, B-Rad looked at me, did you enroll your wife in response? I thought she could benefit from codependency recovery. The other participants were trying not to laugh. Rex actually said, damn, that's cold, and got a high five from two guys. Dr. Morrison, this is highly irregular. You both enrolled each other in therapy as, what, revenge? Treatment, I corrected. She diagnosed me with toxic masculinity. I diagnosed her with codependency. Neither of you are qualified to diagnose anyone. Ramona stood up. This is his fault. He's manipulating everyone. Dr. Morrison, Ramona, please sit down. This reaction is, don't therapize me. She stormed out. I stayed and finished the exercise with Goldie, who whispered, your wife seems fun. That night, Ramona went nuclear, called her mom, sister, Kendra, even her book club. Told them I was weaponizing therapy and making a mockery of mental health. Joyce called me immediately. How could you do this to Ramona? Do what? Get her help for her codependency. She's not codependent. Then why is she unable to let me make autonomous decisions? Because you make the wrong decisions. According to who? According to what's best for your marriage. Who determines that? Ramona, obviously. That's literally codependency, Joyce. She hung up. Update 4 week 5 was when everything shifted. Ramona had been hate attending her sessions, but something Dr. Morrison said finally hit home. I only know because Ramona came home and word vomited the entire session. Dr. Morrison asked me why I felt responsible for your feelings and behaviors. I said because I'm your wife. She said being a wife doesn't mean being your emotional manager. I said that's literally what marriage is. She said no, that's codependency. Then she asked when I last did something just for me, without considering how it would affect you or our relationship. And I couldn't answer because everything I do is about us, or you, or making sure you're who I need you to be. That sounds like a breakthrough. It's not, it's propaganda. But then, she paused, then she asked why I was so afraid of you being yourself. What did you say? Then I'm not afraid, I just want you to be better. Better than what? Than what you are. The weight of that statement hung between us. Ramona, do you even like me? Of course I love you. That's not what I asked. Do you like me? As I am? Silence. That night, she called Thea crying. I heard the whole thing through the bedroom door. Maybe I am codependent. I enrolled him in therapy without asking. I check his phone. I track his location. I get anxious when he does things without me. I've been trying to fix him for 3 years. Oh God, Thea, what if I'm the problem? Thea's response was apparently, you're not the problem. You just care too much. Even Ramona recognized that as enabling. Meanwhile, I was having my own revelations in toxic masculinity recovery. Not about toxic masculinity, I didn't have that, but about how many of the guys there were in the same boat. Their wives had enrolled them for crimes like working on cars, not wanting to talk about feelings 24/7, having male friends, enjoying sports, being introverted. One guy, Felix, was there because he didn't cry at his father's funeral. His wife said it was emotional constipation brought on by patriarchal conditioning. He said, I processed my grief privately. I cried alone. Just because she didn't see it doesn't mean it didn't happen. B-Rad actually agreed with him. Update 5 week 7 brought the accountability circle, where we had to bring our partners to witness our growth. Ramona decided this was her chance to expose me. She invited Joyce, Thea, and Kendra to witness my confession of toxic masculinity. What she didn't know was that B-Rad had actually become somewhat enlightened about the whole situation. He'd been doing some reflecting on how many men were force-enrolled by partners. The session started with B-Rad asking each man to share what he'd learned. When it got to me, I stood up. I've learned that I don't have toxic masculinity. I have normal, healthy masculine traits that my wife pathologized because she wanted to control my behavior. I've learned that watching football isn't toxic, going to the gym isn't toxic, having emotions different from what my wife expects isn't toxic. What is toxic is being enrolled in therapy against your will by someone who claims to love you. The room erupted. 3 other guys stood up and said, same. Felix actually applauded. Ramona jumped up. This is exactly the kind of toxic resistance we're talking about. B-Rad in the most professional comeback ever. Actually, Ramona, resistance to forced therapy isn't toxic. It's a healthy boundary. Joyce tried to intervene. You're supposed to be fixing him. Ma'am, he doesn't need fixing. He needs a partner who accepts him. He's manipulated you. No, I think he's been manipulated into being here. Then Dr. Morrison walked in. She'd been watching from the doorway. "Ramona, we need to talk about your behavior right now." "My behavior? I'm supporting my husband." "You're attempting to control the narrative of his therapy. That's a codependent behavior we've discussed extensively." "This is gaslighting." "No, this is accountability." Ramona grabbed her stuff and stormed out, her entourage following. Thea turned back to flip me off. Real mature. That night, Ramona issued an ultimatum. Either you admit you have toxic masculinity and commit to changing, or we're done. Okay, you'll admit it? Okay, we're done. She wasn't expecting that. Final update. The last week was separate graduation ceremonies for each program. I attended mine, got my completion certificate from BRAD, who pulled me aside. "Dude, I've been doing this for 5 years, and your situation made me realize we need to screen better. Half these guys don't need to be here. They need couples counseling or divorce lawyers." "You gonna change the program?" "Already talked to management. We're adding a consent verification process. No more surprise enrollments." Meanwhile, Ramona's graduation was apparently a disaster. According to Goldie, who became my inside source, Ramona spent the entire final session arguing that she wasn't actually codependent, everyone else was just underdependent, and that the program was designed to break up healthy marriages. Dr. Morrison's response: "The fact that you see independence as a threat to your marriage is exactly why you need this program." Ramona refused to accept her certificate. That night, she came home with Joyce, Thea, Kendra, and plot twist, her dad, Morton, who'd flown in from out of state. "We're doing an intervention," Morton announced. "For who?" "For you. You're throwing away your marriage because you're too proud to admit you need help." I pulled out my phone and played the original email where Ramona enrolled me without consent. Then I played the audio I'd recorded of her admitting she wanted to fix me into someone else. Morton listened to the whole thing. Then he turned to Ramona. "You enrolled him secretly? For his own good. That's not okay, sweetheart. Dad, you're supposed to be on my side. I'm on the side of truth, and the truth is you tried to force him into therapy. That's not right." Joyce jumped in. "Morton, you don't understand." "I understand perfectly. My daughter tried to control her husband and it backfired." The room exploded into arguments. Thea called Morton a traitor. Kendra called me an abuser. Joyce said I'd poisoned Morton against them. In the chaos, I slipped out and went to my brother's place. The divorce papers were filed the next week. Ramona contested everything, claiming I'd emotionally abused her by enrolling her in therapy. The judge's response was beautiful. "Ma'am, you enrolled him first, secretly, without consent. He enrolled you openly in response. If anyone was abusive here, it wasn't him. We're divorced now." The Healing Horizons incident, as our friend group calls it, became legendary. The center actually sent me a thank you letter for helping them realize they needed better protocols. Ramona's still in therapy. Actual therapy this time, not performative programming. Last I heard, she enrolled her new boyfriend, Garrett, in emotional availability enhancement, without telling him. Some people never learn. As for me, I'm dating Quinn, a personal trainer, who thinks it's perfectly fine that I watch football, go to the gym, and process emotions in my own way. She actually encourages my toxic hobby of working on cars. Imagine that. Joyce still sends me articles about toxic masculinity. I've blocked her on everything, but she prints them out and mails them. The dedication would be admirable if it wasn't so unhinged. Thea started a blog about surviving narcissistic ex-brothers-in-law. It has 4 readers, all family members. Kendra tried to warn Quinn about me. Quinn's response was to invite her to watch a football game with us, where Quinn outdrank, outate, and outcheered everyone. Kendra left at halftime looking scandalized. Morton and I actually grab beers sometimes. He apologized for Ramona and said, "I think I know where she got the controlling thing from." Joyce enrolled me in sensitivity training in 1993. I went for 1 session and never went back. Should have been a red flag. To everyone asking if I regret the petty enrollment revenge, absolutely not. It exposed exactly who Ramona was and saved me from years of being fixed. Also, B-Rad and I still text. He left Healing Horizons and started his own practice focused on helping men deal with controlling partners. He uses my story as a case study, with permission of course. The moral? If someone tries to secretly fix you, they're telling you exactly what they think of you. Believe them. And maybe enroll them in codependency recovery. Edit. Stop asking for Healing Horizons contact info. They've changed their policies and now require consent forms. Also, Dr. Morrison is actually excellent at her job. Ramona was just untreatable. Edit 2. To the people saying I should have just talked to her. I tried that for 3 years. Some people don't hear you until there are consequences, and even then they blame you for the consequences. Edit 3. Ramona, I know you're reading this because Goldie told me you asked her about it. Garrett's in my DMs asking about red flags. Just thought you should know.